y'all? Welcome back and welcome to my first impression of Creature Commando, man. First of all, I want to say, fuck you, James Gunn, for dropping this show the same day as Marvel Rivals. Got to do some fucking, I don't know what the word is, competitive, cross-programming. I don't know what the word is when you like when that JD would always throw around back when during the Wednesday Night Wars to them of like NXT doing something to compete against AEW, like bringing in a WWE Legend or something else, or whatever the case may be, to compete against them to win the ratings war for that weekend or for that week, rather than I should say. But yeah, like I forget what the word was, but whatever the case may be. Like fuck you for putting this the same day as Marvel Rivals release, because you guys know I was hyped for the game, man. I want to play it, but I haven't gotten the chance to play it at all today because I had to go to the gym. Then from after we done with the gym and everything, man, I had to edit the reaction for the relaunch trailer, which I finally got up there, which took a while because I forgot to record the actual audio. I had like the my desktop audio and OBS muted, so I had to like breathe, and I paused so many goddamn times in that video, man. Having to sync the audio up and everything, man. It was a whole ass mess, man. It was a mess. But then I got that finished up. Then of course I do Blue Exorcist, which I got through those, and then finally got to watch Commando. So. And I was playing with Stream Marvel's Rivals as well, so at this point, man, another day, maybe Sunday or some other day, we'll then finally get to I will stream Marvel Rivals for you guys, and we'll finally get to play around with the game a bit. But anyway, whatever the case may be, man, the show itself, man, the first 2 episodes, man, were absolutely fucking phenomenal, man. I had an absolute blast watching Creatures Commandos, which, as you guys know, this is the official beginning of the DCU. This was chapter 1. This is how it was marketed as by James Gunn when he did like the first initial like wave or whatever, the part 1 of the new DCU. So yeah, we're finally here, man. We were finally here at the start of the DCU, and James Gunn definitely started off strong, man. He definitely started off strong and putting the DCU on the right foot from these first 2 episodes, man. This was absolutely just an incredible first 2 episodes, man. I had a blast watching it, man. And the animation and art animation of the entire show throughout these 2 episodes looked absolutely spectacular as well. As I usually say, it doesn't really hold a candle to like Mappa or Bones or like the big anime studios, man. But for a Western animation, for a Western animated series, man, this show looked phenomenal. Probably one of the best out there from Western cartoons out there, man. But without further ado, enough jibba jabba. Let's just jump right into the actual show itself. So the show stars Anna Chalatra, if I'm pronouncing that right, which I'm probably not. Maria Bakalovia, Frank Gilio, Zoe Chano, Indri Varma, Sean Gunn, Viola Davis, and many more. And the plot of Creature Commandos is the Black Ops team is forming out of prisoners, laying the foundation for the Suicide Squad. That's what the plot synopsis on Google says. So first of all, man, I thought the cast for all the other Creature Commandos is great, man. I thought they all sounded great. Obviously, Viola Davis comes back as Amanda Waller, man. She sounds amazing as well, man. And the rest of the cast sounded solid. Now the art animation we get is like probably the biggest thing we got to talk about from this show, because good God, was the art animation in this show absolutely spectacular. Like I said, it wasn't really like something I would go as far as to call like on par with like Mappa or like one of the big or like any of the major anime studios out there, but it looks good for a Western cartoon, especially when you compare it to like a lot of the DC animated movies that we get straight to DVD or straight to Blu-ray rather, like from the DC AMU, Tomorrowverse, etc., 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 etc. This one definitely looked the best out of all of them, man, and it looked absolutely spectacular. Like there's like this one shot, like there's some really like gorgeous shots in this show, man, that just like were just like wow. But the fights themselves also looked absolutely incredible. Like near the first episode, we get to see Dr. Phosphorus facing off against I believe the dude's name was Rick Flag Sr. Rick Flag Jr.'s son, who we know, you guys remember, Rick Flag was the guy that was from Waller's team in the Suicide Squad, in the first Suicide Squad movie, that guy, the guy in the yellow shirt. Where they fight on, man, the animation looks absolutely spectacular. I don't know if you guys can hear that. from upstairs. But yeah, the animation was just spectacular for that fight, man. It looked absolutely incredible, man. Seriously. Looked absolutely amazing. The art animation, just in general, looked crazy. Shout out to the studio and that was behind this show. Bobby Pills was a studio that worked on this show, and they're actually apparently based out of France this time. So they're a French animation studio. But yeah, man, the art animation through the show, man, looked absolutely spectacular, man. I liked the way how this definitely felt very much like in line with James Gunn's style of filmmaking, with like some of the edits and everything, man. The way that we jump back and forth for flashbacks and such, man. Even though James Gunn, I don't think is actively directing the show. I think he's just a writer, like obviously the executive producer, and of course, the head of the DCU and all that jazz. Now, I forget if he directs any of the episodes. He might have directed the first one. I'm not entirely sure, or if he directs any of the episodes, or he's just like just does writing and producing on the show. Whatever the case may be, it still very much feels like a James Gunn movie in places, man, with this show, which I enjoy, man, because you guys know I like James Gunn. I like his movies. So yeah, man, like I like the way how they did with like flashbacks and just the cast themselves, man. Like the animation. Oh, to get back on the animation, we got to talk about Weasel real quick, man. Where we see where I feel like Weasel was low-key like the priority cut for the team, in because Weasel, once they get out of the plane, they're on their way over to the castle to protect the princess, who, might I say, is bad as hell, brother. Ooh, Lord have mercy, that chick is a baddie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I ain't even into blondes like that, too, so she fine. But yeah, man. So when they get to there, man, we get to see we see Weasel. He's like has to take a piss, and we see him kind of like relieving himself in the car. Man, the animation, and the character acting there looked great. We had a lot. There was just so many amazing sequences throughout the show, and it just looked absolutely incredible from an art animation perspective. I could gush about the art animation, till the cows come home. It looks absolutely great. But anyway, I like the characters throughout the movie, man, that we see, or the show rather, that we see, like the Bride of Frankenstein. I thought she was really cool. Dr. Phosphorus seemed to be like the highlight. G.I. Robot, who is like a World War II war veteran that is always looking for more Nazis to shoot. That's kind of his whole thing, where he's like constantly asking characters, like, is he Nazi scum? Can I shoot this Nazi scum, or are they Nazi scum, or whatever the case may be, and pulls out his gun. But yeah, he was really cool, man. I look forward to seeing more of him as the show progresses onward, and we do get to see the next episode preview for the first episode. That they did show that we do get to see him just laying out a bunch of random guys in one of the following episodes of this season. I don't know if this is gonna be like one season series or this is gonna be multi-season. I guess we'll find out, depending on how it does well and everything, man. But regardless, judging from the next one, a little sneak peek into the rest of the series, looks like that we'll probably see that in a future episode. The comedy, as always, is on point, like as we expect from James Gunn. Like the group, like the village, the castle, the people inside the castle they are protecting seem to be stuck in the 90s because they reference Scary Movie with the "What's up?" But yeah, the comedy's great, man. This show is just a blast, man. That's everything I could think of off the top of my head that I want to talk about in terms of pros of getting into spoiler territory. Now, as far as negatives that we can say with the series, man, is one. I will say the show does continue on the trend that I've noticed with a lot of WB's animated futures, at least when it comes to DC stuff. And this goes back to the Tomorrowverse. I believe in the DC AMU did this as well, where for certain puns they just flash the screen white to I guess simulate the impact of the shot by making the screen go white. I never really liked that whole thing, if I'm being honest, man. And I feel like at this point, maybe I don't know if they just did it because it's the style of DC's animated movies, or a straight up mandate from WB. But I don't really like that one, man. They do it for a handful of punches, man. And it's inoffensive. It doesn't really hurt or harm the final product, my enjoyment at all. But that's something I definitely don't really enjoy about DC's movies, is the constant flashing the white, the constant flashbangs with the white light to simulate impact, and just do impact frames at that point. But yeah, so there's that. And then of course we have the continuity itself with the DCEU for this film. which basically confirms that everything that's from James Gunn's tenure in the DCEU, Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, all of that is indeed canon for the DCU. When they mentioned the ending of Peace Walker Season 1, Rick Flag is once again still dead as he was at the end of Suicide Squad, which I was sad to see because I was kind of hoping with like this new universe we get to see him return, man, because I love this character, man, but alas, he is dead and we're stuck with his dad instead to take his place. But, and like, so yeah, like they reference to both those movies, like they reference both that and Peacemaker constantly throughout the show, man. Viola Davis mentioned it as well as Amanda Waller. But one thing that I will say that due to them making like all this connected to the DCU, there are some inconsistencies with the timeline. To be fair, nothing major that James Gunn can't just like hand wave away or just sweep under the rug that affect the plot. But obviously, you guys know in this universe, the Justice League doesn't exist yet. But yeah, if you guys remember, at the end of Peacemaker Season 1, the Justice League make a cameo appearance, and we actually get to see Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, I believe, are the Justice League members that were actually shown on camera, if I remember correctly. So you had that whole thing, man. But yeah, but besides that, man, like I said, like that, they could just hand wave that away, be like, oh, that part of the end of the final episode of Peacemaker isn't actually canon, right? Like for the DCU. Which Blue Beetle did this as well, which was marketed as Point 5 of the DCU, mostly just, you know, a leftover from the DC EU before James Gunn took over and revitalized and revamped everything into the current DCU that we are seeing right now. But yeah, man, I think that's all I gotta say about Creature Commandos, man. Some slight inconsistency with the timeline with them connecting the James Gunn's DCEU movies into this universe and kind of basically continuing off where it left off, but like nothing too major. And I'm definitely not a big fan of like the lens on the flashbacks that DBB uses during those fights. But either way, man, the show looks incredible, man. I'm super excited to see where the rest of the show goes and see the rest of Creature Commandos. Hopefully we get to see more of the characters. Like, I would love to see more of G.I. Robot. I would love to see more of Dr. Phosphorus, especially, man. He was really cool, man. More badass epic fights that we saw in the first episode. And yeah, man, that's all I think that's all I got for you guys today. I am dead tired right now, man. But yeah. Anyway, guys, overall, I give the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos a 9 out of 10, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social if you feel like it. Links up below, and as always, subscribe for more. See you guys next time.